Hello, everybody. Welcome to session 2 of 5 of our Gauntlet Comics Summer Crossover Masters of Umdaar game, The Fragments of Futures Past. I'm Chris Newton. I use he, him pronouns, and I'll be the facilitator of our game. We are going to officially start our actual story, the story part of our game tonight. This is a game that is being played, as I said in our first session, under the auspices of the Gauntlet. That's gauntlet-rpg.com, and we are playing this game under the rules that have been laid out under the Gauntlet's online gaming policy, the Gauntlet Community Code of Conduct, and we are using safety tools to make sure that we all have a good time here at the table. The safety tools we are currently using are, number one, the X card. So if anything comes up during the game, folks just make an X symbol on their voice screen or type X into the chat, or like pipe up and say, hey, I need to X card that, and we will clarify exactly what we need to take out, and then we will back up, remove that from the scene, and go forward with something different. Also, we're using lines and veils, so folks have, everybody has contributed to the list of things that they don't want to see, which are our lines. Those things will not show up. They have contributed things that we are okay with having present in the game, but would not want to deal with directly on screen, and those are our veils. And then folks have also contributed wishes, which are things that they really, really want to see at some point during the game. And we have a sheet on our Roll20 site and a spreadsheet on Google Docs to allow folks to update and alter that as needed. All right. That's by way of an introduction here. And we'll go sort of clockwise around my screen for each person to introduce themselves. Tell us about anything you've got going on that you'd like folks to know about, if you have anything, and then introduce us with a sentence or two about your character so that folks are reminded basically who everybody's going to be playing. First, Stephen, could you tell us about GB?
Yeah, hey there. I'm Steven, he, him. No online presence, don't look me up. And I am playing GB, short for Gauntlet Bot, a mechanical servitor within the secret sanctum of the Gauntleteer. I long to be the manservant to another hero in the meantime, and I fortunately found my old dear friend Lionel, who, whether he wants to or not, has become my new master, who I will generally lecture a lot on the dangers of smoking and serve Earl Grey teas.
Thank you, Stephen. I can't wait for us to see GB in action. Next on my screen, going clockwise, would be Puckett. Tell us about yourself and about Lionel.
Hi there, I'm Puckett, he, him pronouns. Tonight I am playing Old Man Lionel, a sentient mass of metamaterials currently configured as a rainbow-striped colored capybara who has the misfortune to not have thumbs, or really digits for that matter, so I can't roll my own cigars, and I can't hold a teacup, and this assistant, I don't want to call them a servant, this assistant insists on bringing me tea and not rolling cigars for me. So,
calling me an assistant is factually untrue, Mr. Lionel. I am in fact his servant. I say to anyone you try to introduce me to as your assistant.
Who still will not roll cigars for me and still insists on serving me cups of tea.
Mr. Lionel,
cigar
smoking has led to great increases in mortality rate across many known species.
I'm not a species, you bucket of bolts. I'm a sentient mass of metamaterials. I don't get cancer. I can't.
Still secondhand smoke. I mean, come on.
This is what I have to deal with. This is the cost, the true cost of heroism.
Thank you, Puckett. Let's see. The next one in my clockwise list would be Laura. Tell us about yourself and about Norgar.
Yeah, hi y'all. I'm Laura. I use she, her pronouns. Can't really, I mean, you can find me on Twitter, but I'm not really on there, so I don't think it'll do you much good. But I am helping my father out with a blog. It's called Ludoverse Lab. You can find it at ludoverseblogspot.com. And it's just looking at the intersection between education and role playing games in the classroom. That's pretty cool. Tonight I will be playing Norgar, any pronouns, and they are a cybernetic mantis. So I was once a normal mantis, and I went on a raid for resources. I was ambushed and woke up like this. Um, so yeah, I'm a little upset about that. Just kind of trying to figure myself out and trying not to let my rage take control. But you know, I think it's bound to happen at some point.
Okay. Thank you, Laura. Next, Joe, could you tell us about yourself and about Nabah?
Hey, I'm Joe, they, them. If you care about my musings on pop cultural stuff like wrestling and television shows, you follow me at JO_CRAK. I'm playing Nabah. She is the jungle protector of the venomous paradise from the planet Solara. She's, displaced through time and space in like a sort of accidental, purposeful way. She's searching for the stolen heart of the Venice paradise, so as well as just adventuring in general.
All right. Thank you, Joe. All right. We've introduced our characters. We have introduced ourselves, and now it's time to get into the meat and potatoes of this Masters of Umdaar game. I think we open up on this scene. We have this big splash panel because this is our spectacular first issue. We open up. We have a huge splash panel of this wreckage in the sky, careening back and forth, and in the undercarriage of this large dirigible, you have a what looks like a giant of a man in this sort of hastily scrapped together suit of powered armor, screaming at the top of his lungs, "Damn you! You ruined our just got this fixed!" And then we flash back. Where would we find your group? Where would you basically meet to try and sort out where to go next in this in this quest you have created for yourselves to find these artifacts? Where would you congregate to discuss things? We know of a couple of communities that each of you have visited in the past that you have some connections to.
Some kind of cantina, probably.
Yeah, I was thinking
Always good.
similarly, and I was thinking like the Rainforest Cafe, except it's like actually in the rainforest, like built into the trees and stuff.
Well, there is a community that seems like it might have something very similar to a Rainforest Cafe. One of you suggested that you had a previous connection with a community of sentient animals and animal people called the Wellspring. And that sounds like the kind of community that might have a Rainforest Cafe that's actually like rainforesty. How does that sound?
That sounds festive and delightful.
Okay, so you're in one of these canopy seats. Let's say maybe if since this is built basically onto a tree, we'll have basically each seating arrangement is like one branch of the tree. So You guys are in this booth that's sort of part of this large tree branch, and the wait staff for the bar and the tenders of the bar are basically like, some of them are apes, some of them are bird types, and they're just sort of swinging around or zipping around between the various limbs of this tree and the central trunk, where there's a dumbwaiter system from the bottom of the tree that brings up the drinks and the food, etc., from the kitchens and the actual bar down at the bottom. So I think the latest rumor I think that you have all heard is that Thrak Thrak the Purifier, one of the masters that we heard about in our last session, has returned after his. It's tough to really soften this blow here. His complete humiliation at the hands of Lionel and the RUS from a while back. Like, we know that Thrak's dirigible was destroyed. We know that a squad of Thrak's minions were defeated, but you've now heard some reports from the scouts here at the Wellspring that Thrak is again encroaching on the Wellspring's territories. And he's got some new recruits that are twice as dangerous as his old squads. Like, apparently much more highly trained. And you've heard that he's managed to replace the dirigible that was destroyed.
Hey, Lionel, I hear your old buddy Thrax on the up and up again.
How the hell do you replace the dirigible in this world?
I mean,
how?
Hard work and dedication.
I thought I was done with him flying overhead forever. That took barely 2 months.
I don't know what to tell you.
Well, if there's one thing I've learned in my long, long years of wandering this godforsaken planet, it's that everything explodes.
I mean, let's be fair. Your planet's not that bad.
This part of it is pretty okay. Have you seen the rest of it?
I mean, I've seen a lot, so it's big. So I haven't seen everything, but
He replaced the
Probability
damn
of
dirigible.
what's that, GB?
Oh, well, the probability of being brutally murdered does raise by several hundred percentage points upon leaving our immediate vicinity.
See? GB knows. And GB won't even roll me a cigar.
It's because GB knows.
Cigar smoking is a much rarer cause of mortality these days due to the aforementioned being brutally murdered, but it is still a source of morbidity.
GB knows.
Great. I'm wandering the wasteland with a walking copy of Morbidity and Mortality Weekly Report.
Norgar, what have you heard? What's going down on your end? I mean, you're in agreement that cigar smoking is bad, right? At least on that part. Or are you with them?
No, cigar smoking is it's a way to take the edge off.
Wow.
See? Norgar agrees.
Yeah, but
The
like,
Mantoid agrees.
it'll gives away your position and it smells bad.
It's the anti-smoking PSA folks against the cool kids.
There's better things to smoke. I'm just saying that.
Okay, now you're talking to Bob. You didn't tell me you were holding.
Now, I think at that moment, I think you're basically the howler monkey who is tonight's waitstaff for this particular branch of the Tree Cafe swings over and grunts. What can I get you?
Got any cigars?
No.
What's on tap? We'll have 2 of what? Norgard, do you want something that's on? GB, do you even drink? I don't see a mouth.
I merely exist to serve drinks to others. Have no worries for me.
Okay.
However, I will take any diesel you have on tap.
And you guys have been here before, so the howler waiter nods to GB.
So the usual. Yeah, the usual. Okay. Yeah, we know what's this howler's name? Do we know them personally?
Sure. Sure. What if one of you guys wants to name them, that's fine. Otherwise, I can give them a name. You guys have been here a while.
Is Jacques too much of a pun?
I don't know.
Not for me. So.
Not for me because I don't get it.
Like a macaque monkey.
Oh,
Jacques.
okay.
Like Jacques, but yeah, okay.
Yeah. Jacques brushes off his little vest. He takes out a little tablet. And it's basically like a little clay tablet he can scratch onto, and he scratches on diesel, and he scratches on your normal orders. And
So,
he's
Jacob, before you head off, we've been hearing some stuff about Thrak. What have y'all been hearing about Thrak and it's coming to town, right? Or encroaching?
Well, I can tell you what I've heard. Thrak, he's got it in for us. Lionel and the RUSs ran him off last time, but that whole outfit of his, just we're the thing that they hate. We're one of the things that they hate. They hate a lot of things, but we're one of the main things that they hate, and we're an easy target. It's not a secret where we are, because it can't be. We have this gigantic freaking tree, and we have the Wellspring, which is basically the easiest to obtain source of pure water, in maybe a 25-mile radius. You can just dip it, and I'm not sure why it's all pure. We don't know why it's there, but it's there and it's easy to get. And we tried sharing it with various communities. Some of them bought into that, and some of them didn't. Thrak and his outfit obviously didn't. But we've had scouts that have seen this new dirigible, and it's obviously Thrak because it has that giant Thrak symbol painted on the outside of the body of the dirigible.
He just doesn't understand stealth.
Yep. What would Thrak's symbol be, Lionel? He is a semi-nemesis of yours. What is Thrak's symbol that he would paint in a gigantic fashion on the side of this Zeppelin?
Can't be too clever.
It's a big red circle K. And in fact, it's an old Circle K sign that he just puts on the side of the dirigible.
Okay, and
Yes.
all right, so he's literally basically taken an old Circle K logo and just off of some sign, and he's just basically hung it on the sides of the Zeppelin.
Yep.
With cables.
Yep, just like metal cables. I mean, he's not particularly smart, and he's certainly not subtle.
Strange things are afoot at the Circle K.
Well, Thrax's gonna have to face the music.
So, Jacob, is there anyone new in town that like you've been keeping your eye on? Like, because with Thrak on the rise, do you think he's got any spies? Trying to like learn the defenses. Who's been outside of the normal customers that are shady and surly? Who's been new?
Well, I think we might be getting into a role here because this sounds like maybe we're trying to create an advantage here because
Sure
you're
thing.
trying to make something, create a detail about the world or discover a detail about the world.
Yep.
So, what approach do you think you're doing here with Shakak? It could be clever. You're basically trying to capitalize on his intelligence and
I'm okay with clever.
Okay.
Because it's not forceful, not being quick or sneaky. I'm just straight up asking. So, like outside of the normal people.
Okay.
So, and I just hit roll approach, right?
Right, and if you have a stunt or anything that would apply to give you a bonus to that approach, you can apply it. Or if you want to spend a fate point to invoke an aspect, you can do that before or after the roll. But let's see what you roll first.
Yeah, I'm not flashily. My one stunt about creating advantages doesn't fit. So, a 4, I presume.
Oh. Okay, that's pretty good. Your standard difficulty for something to discover details where someone might be trying to stay secret, like a spy, would probably be 2. And that beats it by 2, so you get a success. So do you want me to reveal a detail, or do you want to create a detail about this new individual that has shown up in Wellspring lately?
Reveal a detail.
Okay. And this detail will be an aspect. In this case, it will be a creature aspect. Basically, this is a person, and they've had a wanderer who comes in periodically, and they're always sort of wrapped up in this and bundled up in these rags and bandages, and that's not necessarily an uncommon, type of attire, given the way things are, but they never take them off. They come in, they hang out for a while, they buy a drink at the bar, they pick up some random supplies, like the here you can basically buy stuff that's been scavenged or stuff that's been made here. Like they sell bottled beverages that you can take with you. They sell canned vegetables, canned fruits, etc., that they grow here with the giant tree and the help of the Wellspring. But whoever this person is, this rag draped wanderer type, the only name they've given anybody is Jack. And they don't really interact with anyone beyond just sort of like coming in, buying, occasionally selling things, doing trade-offs with random stuff that you could find in the various ruins and stuff like that nearby.
What kind of things are they selling?
Usually it's they're doing basically the equivalent of a bartering economy for the most part. And they're coming in with basically scrap bits of scrap metal, which are always useful for lots of things. Old devices, old technical devices, things like scrap circuit boards and various items like that. Stuff that you can carry, basically stuff that's small enough to be carried in a backpack, but it's still kind of valuable for what it is. Now,
last time they were here.
It's been a day or two. They usually come in like once or twice a week. Expect them back any day now. So what we've got here, and I'll just sort of throw this. I'll kind of throw this aspect out there. Is we've got. I'll move us over to our conflicts page, and I'll bring you guys over with me on the Roll20 site. And I will add with our tools here a creature aspect. And I'll apologize if the creature aspect sort of shows up in a odd place. And I will name it Jack the Wanderer. So Jack the Wanderer is an aspect that you guys can bring in when we encounter him, or her, or they. And let's see, how do you guys want to approach them? Like, you can, you guys have enough contacts here where you can get somebody to notify you when Jack shows up again.
Is Jack humanoid?
Yes.
Right.
Humanoid, wrapped in rags, usually wears like a cloak of some sort or some raggedy like clothing that, some raggedy item that covers their head and shoulders. Like either a big thick jacket, they've worn that a couple of times, or like an old style like cloak that looks like a piece of rug or something that they've managed to cut together into something that fits over their shoulders like a cloak.
I don't want the rats of unusual size, the rodents of unusual size to be left out of this. I want to send word to them.
Okay, they're not on the Wellspring at the moment, but you can certainly get word through the through the signal network, I think. Or do you guys have do you guys share communicators? Like, you've worked with them before. Do they use tech like that, or is it still a little unwieldy in some of their rodent hands or paws?
Well, I mean, for some of them, yes, but it's widely known that mice are very articulate with what they're able to do with their paws. And, there's also, Chopman carries an axe, and Ariel,
and the
and Squirrel. So,
okay. Do you guys have they shared their communicator frequencies with you? Do they have communicators? Is that something they would use?
They have communicators, but I think that I would actually need to get GB to send the message.
Sounds reasonable. GB, would you be willing to do that for Mr. Lionel?
Of course. Dear rodents of unusual size.
Thrack's back. Come have fun.
Thrack has returned. Mr. Lionel invites you to partake in enjoyments with him. In response, regards, GB.
Okay,
Close enough.
That is awesome. GB, you get like a return ping that tells you that their communicator has received the message, but you don't get an immediate reply back, which isn't necessarily unusual. Like, when they're out and about, they're adventuring. They could be busy. They could be in a firefight. They could be in a sword fight. They could be climbing the side of a broken skyscraper to retrieve something. So them immediately replying after they get the message is not necessarily unusual. Okay. All right. So unless you guys have some other sort of setup you'd like to, they could be recreationally brawling. That's entirely possible. Unless you guys have some other setup you'd like to do, we can sort of move forward to you guys catching up to Jack the Wanderer. Does anybody want to do any other sort of setup moves or anything like that before we confront Jack?
I'd kind of like to set up some kind of trap so that we can, if Jack doesn't want to come with us willingly or answer our questions, well, in a civil way, that we can detain them until such time as they are more inclined to be cooperative.
Sure. What kind of trap do you think you would want to set up, and what sort of approach do you think you would use to set up that trap? I think this is another create an advantage move. You're trying to basically set something up, which is standard use of that move. What do you think?
I'm thinking concealed netting, so you can just
Ooh,
like
sounds
drop
sneaky.
a net on them.
Sounds sneaky to me.
And let's see what we've got here. So my sneaky is 1.
Is there another approach that you'd like to try that would work better? I mean, that sounds like a pretty sneaky thing to me, but you could also make a decent argument that could be something that's clever. Or if you're or if you have to activate it like directly, it could be based on how quick you are. Like you have to hit the button, you have to hit the activation switch or whatever quickly enough to catch them before they escape the trap.
I would like to do clever, but that's also my best stat. So of course I would like to do that.
Okay. Well, describe to me how you're creating the setup that makes is, and describe how clever how the cleverness part plays into it, what the setup is, and how that works, and then we'll make the roll.
We've got a couple of monkeys that are going to be following us around overhead, ready to drop the net when they get the signal.
Okay. All right, that works. Now, let's see what your roll will be. Wow. Okay, you guys are really getting these super hot rolls tonight. All right, so that's another 4. So that certainly succeeds. And so we will add in an advantage. Give me a second here to drop that icon onto the screen. And for simplicity's sake, we will just call that advantage Lionel's net trap. And Lionel, you have 1 free invoke of that for creating it. Had you rolled 1 pip more on the roll, you would have succeeded with style and gotten 2 free invokes on it. But you get 1 invoke of that one for free. And likewise, Nabah, because you participated in creating the Jack the Wanderer aspect, you will get to invoke that for free if it turns out that Jack is able to give you information. So we'll keep that in mind. You have a free invoke floating out there regarding Jack and any possible information that they might be able to offer.
Which one of us is most charming?
Well, I mean, Norgar is an empath. I mean, normally that could be very charming, or it could be very creepy, depending on how Norgar, plays it. And GB is certainly easy to get along with.
So I'm thinking that one of those two should probably be the one to approach Jack.
I wouldn't mind doing that, if only to like try to get like a vibe check on him with like my precognition or something.
Ooh, I definitely think you could. You'd be in a position to do that if you were the approach person.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're set up here, and basically Jack comes in, and you've had time to get the monkey squad notified. So they've got the netting like up just above the canopy of the market area where Jack usually goes, and so Norgar, while everyone else is sort of hanging back here, how do you approach Jack? What do you do?
So I think that I'm going to try to do like I think I'm going to try to just like appear behind him or them.
Ooh, oh, sounds sneaky.
Yes, I think.
Okay. All right. Now, are you planning to get your vibe check with this just showing up behind him? Or are
Yeah,
you
I was
going to
gonna
try and like use that to start conversation with him and then do the vibe check?
Yeah, I was gonna try to start conversation. But the sneak behind him was to put him off balance a little bit, just be like, oh wow, there's someone behind me now.
Okay. So you kind of want to basically creep him out a little bit before you get started. So that sounds like you're trying to create an advantage against him to help you in that first exchange. So I think at that point you would probably roll with sneaky to create the advantage. So just click the little icon next to your sneaky approach. Let's see. Okay, that is a 0. So showing up behind him, he's not really expecting somebody to do that. So the difficulty for that is not a big deal. But with a 0, you can either basically that would either be a failure or a success at a cost.
Let's do a success at a cost. That's fun.
Okay. I think the cost is that basically you are when you show up behind him, you are in the net zone, so you would be interfering with the trap.
All right.
Is that cool?
Yeah, that's cool.
Okay. All right. So he like you say like hello, like how do you start the conversation with him now that you're behind him?
I think I kind of whisper in his ear. They told me that I should look for you.
And Jack is sort of hunched over, like pushing, like, or basically pushing a little sort of makeshift cart in the market area with his backpack in it, and he like just sort of gives that like nervous jump, and you notice like his back straightens a little bit more than you would think it should if he's really like all hunched back like he appears to be. And he turns and he says, "Oh, yeah, I've got stuff to sell. Yeah, what are you looking for? And he starts like opening his backpack, like in the little cart, and rummaging in there.
I
I
think
found this
Norva,
pot.
I'm gonna kind of look at the pot. I'm sure that somebody would love it. But my tastes are a bit more eccentric. Do you think you could help me?
And he thinks, and he's rummaging around through that backpack again, and he says, I've got these old circuit boards. I've got a couple of these. He drops them in the cart, and he goes through and I've got this, and he pulls out something. And in the comic panel, we can tell from the art that it's basically a television remote. But he just holds it up like it's some sort of like unknowable ancient talisman, and he turns it around and says it needs something to go in here, and he's pointing to the battery compartment. But if you can find whatever goes in there, like this thing would work.
I think that Norgar's eyes kind of like widen even bigger.
How does that even look? Like we know you're a mantisoid, so how do your eyes widen? Like do they sort of point forward a little bit? Do they sort of move a little, like shift forward?
Yeah, I think that they kind of shift forward, and then they like almost start like bulging, like even more so. And I think that Norgar kind of gets distracted and is like, oh, I've seen these before. I've never seen one in person. What would you like for this?
He says, well, I need stuff. I need non-perishable food like is good, and you know, like I could use like any kind of water samples, like water, like that stuff's as good as gold nowadays.
Yes, yes. So what it would I think Norgar's probably shuffling through their bag, pretending to look for something. What are you doing in these parts? I don't think I've seen you around here much before.
Oh, I wander around. That's all. Like I wander through. Like I trade stuff. You know, sometimes I carry messages or things like that. You know, but like I just, you know, I don't really have a place to stay or anything. So I just move around and I crash some places until I run out of stuff to trade for it, and then I wander out to find more stuff to trade so I can crash again, kind of thing. And kind of as he's having this conversation with you sort of back and forth, like you're in a position to try and do your read on him if you'd like to try that.
Yes, I would. I think I'm going to use my mind. I can just use my stunt, right?
Right, and basically your stunt has a description in as to how it works, and you do have your one free invoke on the sneaky approach that you did earlier. Okay. That you can use.
Yeah, I think I'll do that, and then use my mind reader.
Right, and he's effectively off balance. I didn't add that that aspect onto the screen, that advantage onto the screen, but I will now. So you get a +2 to whatever your roll is when you use that advantage. Okay. All right. So you can cleverly create or discover aspects. So so what you need to do now is you need to roll your clever approach. Okay. Or you can oh wait, let's see. Are you, oh actually I think you're trying to uncover his true nature now, right?
Yeah.
So that would be careful. So you get to roll your careful approach, and you can add a +2 from your free invoke of his off balance.
Okay. So I think did it roll? I can't tell.
Let's see. I think yeah, it rolled. Let's see. You got a 3 on the dice, and you get +2 from the invocation. And the 3 is with your clever stat added. So that's 3 + 2. That's a 5. Let's see. He's basically furtive. So he will get to try and resist this. But his carefulness is only 1. So we'll see how he roll his furtiveness. Okay, so you succeeded with style against him. You beat his roll by more than 3, by 3 or more. So you uncover a detail about his true nature. So you're going to discover one of his aspects, and you will get 2 free invokes of that aspect against him. So I'll give you, I'll throw out another advantage on him. That he's still off balance, but you have to pay a fate point now to invoke that. But this next one, you'll get 2 free invokes afterwards. Okay. Jack is an information trader to Thrak and possibly others. but definitely to Thrak. Like you're getting, you sort of are pulling that read off of him with your exceptional empathic and maybe mildly telepathic abilities. Like when he's pushing for it's him pushing for the water sample, I think, that sort of really got you in deep into his head. Like when he stretched out a little too far there, kind of gave himself away, and that gave you a lot more insight into what he's up to. He's trying to get, he basically comes through places. He collects information about the place as much as he can. He sells it to whoever will pay him in whatever currency he can get, usually like food or other items he can trade. And Thrak's organization keeps giving him stuff for all the info he sends them. So he's definitely trading info. So do you signal to attempt to spring the trap, or what? Or do you want to try and keep pressing him for more information?
No, I think I'll probably I'd do some kind of signal that we probably already predetermined. It'll probably be like some kind of like flick of my antennas or something, in like some odd fashion.
Okay. And Lionel, you've got the trap set up. So roll to cleverly spring your trap. This will be a standard conflict for, and he will attempt to avoid it, but you've got a bonus against him.
All righty, and that's rolling clever.
Okay, so you got, and that add +2 to that.
So there's 5.
Mm-hmm. And Joe, you mentioned you've got that advantage out there about Jack the Wanderer. Once you actually get into pumping him with for information, like you will be able, whoever wants to do that particular role can definitely use your bonus if you want to let them. Okay, so that's a total of 5. Let me see what he's going to roll. I think basically this is going to be against his quickness to get out from under the net. His quickness is he's quick. But he's not quick enough. Not even close. That's a success with style. So he is trapped, and he's and you get you'll get another 2 free invokes on him being trapped if he tries to get away. Like he is stuck. And I think because Norgar was able to sort of maneuver around before you actually sprang the trap, I think Norgar, you avoided actually getting caught in it because of how you sort of worked things in. You didn't immediately try and spring the trap. You sort of worked around it a little bit. So I think you managed to get out of that unfortunate like possible net zone. And plus, when the trap was sprung, that was a spectacular roll by Lionel. So everything went off without a hitch. You now have Jack in a net. He is sputtering and snarling and trying to basically squirm out of it, but like he's caught. Like it just was perfect, just chef's kiss.
I turn to GB. Have you heard back from the rodents of unusual size yet?
GB, you have not. You have not.
No, I have not.
All right. So I come around the corner of a tree where we were hiding, chewing on the stump of a cigar, which I'm sure GB doesn't know how I got it or where it came from.
I disapprove, but I will not say anything except for this.
Jack. What are we going to do with you?
And he's like squirming in the net and said, let me go?
That's not an option. Now when you're selling information to Thrak.
And like the even through all the wrappings and crap that's just wrapped around his like head and face, like you can see his eyes pop open. Like with that comic panel, like that's, that close up of his face, like he knows you've got him. He doesn't know how. He's not sure how you've got him that, with that bit of info. But everybody looking at the comic page knows that he has been busted.
So here's how this is going to go. You're going to tell us what we want to know. And if you're nice about it, and you tell us everything, and I point at Naba, she's not going to cut pieces off.
No. I want to be. I'm not there. I'm hiding up in the canopy.
Oh yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
Naba's hiding up in the canopy, but you do have a mantoid and a. Well, I guess
So,
GB's not really scary, but
I'll
he is a
point at
robot.
GB and say, I won't let this one cut pieces off of you. And then I point at, and I hate to say this about Norgar because, Norgar looks scary, but I know Norgar is a sweetie. And I won't let this one eat pieces off of you.
She chomps her little
The clicking of the
Mandibles,
yeah.
Right, so tell me, Jack, does that sound like a fair deal? You get to stay in one piece, and as long as you tell us everything we need to know, they don't, start turning you into multiple pieces.
What do you want to know? What do you want to know? What do you want to know? Look, I'm just a trader. That's what I do. I trade stuff. I get stuff. I trade stuff. It's what I do. It's what I do. I'll trade you. What do you want to know? What do you want to know? What do you want to know?
What's Thrak up to here?
Okay. I think this is basically like just a standard standard conflict here. You're trying to get information out of them.
Mhm.
So this is going to be opposed, I think, by he's going to oppose you with clever, because he's trying to just weasel out of giving much information, because he doesn't want to get in trouble with Thrak either. But he also wants to be able to give you enough to where that you will all let him go. So I think it's basically going to be a on his end a clever resistance to giving up the info. And we're going to kind of work this like a social conflict. So stress and consequences are going to be in play for him.
Okay.
So what approach are you using here? It sounds like you're being pretty forceful, like you're laying out like severe physical consequences if he does not comply. Does that sound fair?
That sounds fair. Not that anybody remembers what Aegis is anymore, but I was an agent of Aegis at one point. So yeah, I can do forceful.
Okay. Let's see, and I will set him up to roll his cleverness.
God, these dice are killing us tonight.
Oh, that's still not too bad. They're fate dice, so like the randomness involved is not all that great.
Yeah. Like the average is a 0, so.
Yeah. Okay. You tied, but
You got that free
Nabaz
tag.
Nabaz giving you that free tag. I think if you want to use it, that'll give you a victory over it.
We might as well. We need the information.
Okay. You've got it. Okay, so that will put he's going to have to deal with 2 stress in some way. He can either take a stress box, or he can give a consequence. He can deal with that with a minor consequence, which is giving you some info. I think he's going to take the minor consequence of coughing up info, and for him that means he says Thrak's paying for any info about Wellspring, like anything he can get, any stuff he can get, like samples of stuff from the Wellspring, some of the stuff that grows here, like any of that stuff, like he's paying for it. I don't know where he's got all the stuff he's throwing around to get this stuff, but he's trading for it. See, that's good. See, I'm giving you the information. So now, yep, just net.
That's the what, not the why.
You didn't tell me why. Like you just he just pays me, and I tell him stuff. Like it's like the easiest job. Like I give him some of the stuff I trade for. He gives me more stuff to trade for more stuff. Like he doesn't tell me why. Like I'm not like. He doesn't give me powered armor. Like I'm not one of his old thugs or one of his new ones. The new ones are scary.
Where exactly are all these new thugs coming from?
And he starts this talking, and he like clams up again. It's like that's and you can tell he's probably got more that he could spill, but he's kind of scared to spill it. So you might have to sort of convince him again.
Jack, listen. I'm the kind of person who helps people. It's what I do. It's what I've always done. You can talk to anybody around here. They know I help people. I can help you. I can tell you're scared of Thrak.
He nods.
And maybe you don't know this, but I'm responsible for Thrak's last dirigible crashing and being destroyed.
Oh, yeah, he cusses about that a lot.
Me and some friends of mine, including these friends, have beaten Thrak. And we're not scared of him.
Yeah, that's good for you. I'm still scared of him.
I'm
scared enough for both of us. I'm scared enough for both of us. Maybe for at least two of you, I think.
But we can help you. If you help us, we can help you.
Let's see. It sounds like you're moving into another conflict role with him, but it doesn't sound like you're being forceful this time. What approach do you think you're leading with here?
I don't think it's tricky enough to be clever. And there's no kind or compassionate role.
Well, it could be cautious, or it could be flashy. Like you're trying to draw attention to the fact that like you guys have beaten him before, and you can beat him again. You're sort of talking yourself up. It could be flashy. It could be careful, or it could be a careful thing. You're trying to lay out the details for him and say, "Look, we can help."
I think
careful's not kind necessarily, but it fits for how you're laying it out for him here. I think you could definitely go that direction.
I feel like that's closest because I'm not trying to brag about it and say, oh yeah, we blew up everything and we stormed through and we just like stomped him into the dirt. It's basically like, you need help and we can help you. So let's see what we get here.
Okay. Ooh. Ooh, is there anything you would like to, any aspect you would like to tag to try and re-roll that?
Let's see.
I think you could spend a fate point and invoke the off balance tag against against Jack. Like he's still off balance obviously, but you would have to pay a fate point to invoke it to do a reroll if you wanted to.
Okay. You know what? With the -1, I'm going to.
Okay. Yeah, the reroll is the best option if you roll negative. Just the +2 usually isn't that great.
Ouch.
Oof. Okay, the -1 is still better than that. Okay. Let's see. Well, let's see how badly he rolls. You might still beat him. Basically, you're rolling against his careful approach. He rolls a 0. Okay.
If I invoke the trapped, does that get me to +1?
Yes, that'll beat him.
Okay, and I've also have another free invoke after that.
I think you get 2 free invokes. So have you invoked the trap against him yet? I don't think you have. No. Okay. So yeah, you still have 1 free invoke on the trap against him, and until you let him go from the trap. So they get you to +1, and that he's going to take a 1 consequence. He's getting stressed out now. Like he's basically like he at this point, I think with the minor consequence and him taking that 1 stress, like he's taken out, like he just spills it. This is the equivalent of basically him giving up. He said, look, he's, Thrax's still pissed. Thrax and he wants to get back at you guys, but listen, it's the way he talks, like it's bigger than you guys. Listen, you know that Thrak can't. There's no way he could have fixed that balloon of his, right? Like, right? He doesn't know how to do that. I mean, it was a miracle he ever kept that stupid thing in the air in the first place, right? But he's hooked up with somebody else now that got him that stuff. I think that's who's gotten him these new guys that are working with him, and that's got him this stuff that he's throwing around. And whoever this new person is, they're looking hard at the Wellspring. I don't know who it is. Like Thrak won't mention him. I think he's embarrassed, honestly, that he needed help. Like he doesn't want to admit that he's working for anybody else, but I think he is. Because these guys all show up and like they take Thrak's orders, but they aren't his lackeys like the other guys were.
When are you supposed to meet Thrak next?
And he's like, what day is it? And you can tell him.
I look at GB.
GB, what day is it?
It is Tuesday, March 13th.
I think like tomorrow I was supposed to like bring whatever I got out and drop it off at the docking station. Like I don't usually meet Thrak unless it's something big, I just give the stuff and I relay it to one of the guys, one of the new guys, and like they record me on something and then they just tack it to Thrak. And if Thrak really thinks thinks I've got something juicy, like he'll have me brought to him. And that's usually bad. Like I try not to get that because like it's bad. Like, Thrak's like on the best day, Thrak's on edge. Like him, like you've met him, like on his best day, he's like just riding a razor edge between like, shooting you in the face and shooting you in the leg. Like that's Thrak.
Same base, or did he move it?
I mean, he's based as far as I can tell, he's based in the balloon thing now. Like, and he just like, and he has like docking stations. Like you guys blew up the last docking station he had. So he's had to build one. The closest one is the closest one to here is like a good ways off. Like I usually have to crank up the cycle to get there for the meeting.
Is that where you're meeting him?
Yeah, because it's the closest one to here. Like, and he usually wants to report like right after I come here. Like he'll pay for lots of other stuff about other places, but like he really lays out the trade for any stuff or any info about Wellspring.
So Jack, here's what you're going to do for us.
And
You're going to tell him. No, trust me. This will work out for you. This will work out for you in a lot of different ways. You're going to tell him you've got something really special. In fact, I want you to radio him right now and tell him you've got something really special.
And he's like, my radio's in my backpack. And that's he points to the little cart where he's got the open backpack with all the junk that's been scattered in the cart that he was trying to trade to Norgar.
I look at my capybara paws and I look at Norgar's, non-opposable appendages, and I look at GB and say, Do you have anything that you could use to give him the radio before I have to pick it up with my mouth?
To give him the radio?
Yes.
Yeah, I pick it up and hold it out to him.
Those giant vacuum tube extendo arms.
Yep.
So, Jack, here's the thing, and I want you to be really, really clear about this. You tell Thrak you managed to subdue me, and you're bringing me in.
And he just like looks at you and is like, how did I do that?
Snuck up behind me, hit me over the head with a bottle. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Go ahead.
His hands are sort of still tangled up in the net, but he like grabs this little like, the comic book page, like the reader of the comic book page can tell like it's a like an old school but strangely still functional, like one of those brick Nokia phones, like those things that you could smash with a hammer and it would still work. And he like presses and holds the button down until it like flashes on, and it looks like it's fading in. Like the screen is obviously like just on its last legs. It's got that sort of digitized, messed up readout, but you can hear a beep on the other end because it's loud. And Thrak, this is Jack. I've got something. I've got something really good. I've got something you're gonna like this. No, not that. No, I don't have that. I wasn't able to find that. Like I can't. That's not something I can. Nobody has that. Like nobody has that. Where the hell am I supposed to find a can of Tab? Like that was hard to find. That's been. What even is it? Listen. I've got that rainbow thing that you hate. He was here and I managed to like clunk him over the head, and like I've got him. Like you said you wanted him, and I can get him to you. Like he's bundled up in a sack now. Like I can give him to you at our rendezvous tomorrow. I've got him bundled up in a sack. Like he's tied up. He can't do anything. I've got him. Look, I want that thing. I want that thing. You told me I could have one, and I want it. That's what I want. I want that thing. No, the other thing. What? The jetpack. I want the jetpack. I'm sick of this stupid moped. Okay. I'll get him there. No. Look. You don't have to do that. Like I'm already. I'm bringing him to you. I want the jetpack. You don't have to like. Okay. Okay. Bye. And he like holds the button down until it hangs up, and the screen sort of fades again. So, like he really hates you.
I know.
Like he's gonna give me a jetpack. Can I get the jetpack before you guys like do whatever you're gonna do? Can I get the jetpack?
I'm pretty sure that we can make sure you get the jetpack, Jack. Hey,
that can be Jack Jetpack.
Jack. Let's get a ring to it, doesn't it?
It kind of does.
Now, Jack, we've acted like a friend to you, right?
Well, kind of. I mean, you did throw a net on me. I mean, I don't have many friends. Is that what you do? Like it seems sort of.
And I think about the rodents of unusual size, and I'm thinking, actually, that's kind of nice for my friends. We usually just kind of fight each other. But it's for fun.
Okay. So, okay then.
But we're not going to fight you. Okay? So
That's good because I lost already, right? Like the one that gets caught in the net is the loser.
I would prefer to think of it as somebody who's given opportunities. Because we gave you opportunities, didn't we, Jack?
And he nods, and I think that's a good place to sound it, kind of break off from that scene, like as he's nodding back at all of you, and Naba is like hanging down from one of the upper limbs and kind of keeping an eye out, making sure that Jack didn't have an escort or anything.
Yeah, like, oh, so we're not going to follow him? Okay.
Oh no, you the rest of you will have to follow him.
She's calling down. It's like, oh, we're not going to let him. Okay. All right. So.
The rest of you will have to follow him. Apparently, like Lionel's going to travel in a sack, but I think we're at 9:40. So I think it's a good time to take a 10-minute break.
Lionel is
come back.
conveniently sack-sized.
It
GB
works
said
out.
so.
So we'll come back in about let's say 9:55. A little bit more than 10 minutes, but I think it's good. And then we'll hit the ground running with our next scene. Everybody good? Okay. One. Okay, we're back after our break, and now we're going to talk about this sort of well, I guess it's not really a Trojan horse situation because literally Lionel will be in the bag.
Are you comfortable in the sack, Mr. Lionel?
It'll be a lot more comfortable if you can get the rodents of unusual size on the horn. Let them know what's going on. I mean, I can't imagine they'd pass up a chance to pinch Thrak in the face. I mean,
I am beginning to worry about their failure to return our communications. I was quite polite. I cannot think that they would be offended.
I mean, we'll be able to handle it. We don't need them. It's just nice.
So, GB, do me a favor. Send him a message saying that Thrak has captured me.
Dear rodents of unusual size, Mr. Lionel has fallen into the clutches of Mr. Thrak. Is there anything you would like me to add, sir?
Yeah, help.
If you could please provide aid, it would be much appreciated. Thank you. Regards, GB.
Didn't know you were constantly needing help, Lionel.
Look, I am a very good friend. Jack knows this. Look what I did for Jack. I would not want my friends to miss out on the chance to punch Thrak in the face over and over. They love it. It's one of their hobbies.
It's one way to look at it. The other might be maybe you're just getting too old for this.
I've been too old for this. GB, what year is it?
Should we build a little walker for you?
Well, he is in that cart.
He is already in a sack, Mr. Naba. I believe that a walker would be. I am sorry, but I am only programmed to respond to call people Mister.
Okay. Can we?
I can use whatever pronouns you like, though.
I tell you, 20th century programming is some wonky stuff sometimes.
Pretty sure they had ma'ams back then.
This is probably one of those things where they were just trying to save like the two characters because there was
and
like
they just,
64K
honestly, 1920s, did they think that any woman would be in a position of power?
Well, and honestly, you're probably dealing with at best punch card technology. So
punch card technology is far superior to any other technology, sir.
Earth
Until you get
sucks.
This is what I've been trying to tell you, Naba. I mean, now do you understand? Now do you understand why I need cigars and alcohol to cope?
Alcohol's fine. Cigars.
It is a bit of a weird joke. So I can just script change to just calling people miss.
Cigars? There's so much better things to smoke that don't smell as bad.
You
Okay.
bring me
Fish, for example.
smoking fish?
Oh, I mean,
GB,
I am trained in the serving of many different smoked fish finger sandwiches, sir.
anyway, so what's our
Okay.
game plan?
okay, so game plan.
I'm all for like just bursting in.
That's actually pretty much the game plan. You follow along at a distance, you wait till I'm through, charge the gate, wreak havoc. I'm sure we can come up with some explosives to cause some chaos and have people running around in terror and trying to put out fires and things. Board the dirigible where Thrak is going to have me. We break stuff until the dirigible starts falling out of the sky. We grab a couple of jetpacks.
Well, we just got to make
Jump
sure it
out.
doesn't crash any place we don't want it to crash.
And Jack
You got a
pipes
point.
up. Hey, whoa! You said the jetpack was mine.
Well, how many jetpacks does he have? He's got to have more than one.
I don't know. I know I only know about the one, and that's the one. That's the one I want.
Okay. Well, how are they supposed to get off the dirigible if there's some kind of accident? I mean, you used to have jetpacks before. What, did those go down with the last dirigible?
Well, I mean, he might have gotten something from the
You
new
were
guy, but
quite
like,
thorough, sir.
look, maybe the new guys have something special. Like, I don't know, but like the only jetpack I've seen since he's got the new balloon is just the one. Like,
Okay, so we need to make sure the dirigible is being piloted over a body of water that is not the acid lakes. Okay. GB, you're on navigation. It'll be your job to pilot us over a body of water so that we can jump out of the dirigible and dive into it like actual big heroes, like the heroes we actually are. And then we can swim to shore and everybody's happy. But remember, not the acid lakes.
Entering pilot mode. Aye, aye, sir.
Naba, you and Norgar are going to have some heavy lifting to do on this one. I mean, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that I'm not tied up too tight so I can wriggle out of whatever I'm in. Right, Jack? You going to help me with that?
How, like, honestly, look at your arms and legs. How can you really be tied up that tightly?
Right. But even so I'll be able to get out of it. And as soon as they open up the bag, I can spring out and say something appropriate like, "Haha, I have surprised you. This is a clever trap."
Perhaps Jack can inform them that he lured you in, taking advantage of your vice of smoking cigars. Not that I am providing any judgment upon the matter whatsoever.
I sigh and hang my capybara head.
and Jack pipes up. Well, hey, I mean, I've got some cigars.
I cock an
And-
eye in Jack's direction and say, "You're a good friend."
He pulls
Anyway,
them out, and the ones he have are like those really like disgusting dime store cigars. Like, these are not good cigars. But he pulls out like a handful of them, like the sort of roughly pencil length, like really disgusting ones.
These will suffice. I just chew on them anyway.
Okay, he like drops them in the sack.
GB, I want you to notice this. This is how friends behave.
I'm used to the sack, but not so much. Anyway, we've got a secret mission to do. Let's get going.
Norgard,
Into the bag.
do you have any advice, last minute ideas, any changes that you want to toss in here?
Let's see, well,
Air
so we
holes in the bag. Do you need air holes in your bag?
No, it's a burlap sack. Should be fine.
I have prepared a throw pillow for you, sir. And I drop it in.
Also, as he loves pointing out, he doesn't have lungs.
There is that,
What-
isn't there?
Well, he has created like respiratory organs so that he can like, sigh.
See, you're damaging your ability to sigh in exasperation, Lionel. That's the true cost of smoking.
So
I look at Jack with pleading eyes and say, "Can you please just put me on the sack now?"
he like lifts you up. Let me ask you, this is something I haven't been clear on. Exactly how heavy is Lionel? I know he's roughly capybara sized, and he's roughly capybara like texture wise. But how heavy is he? Like, what weight does this metamaterial carry? Is it super
Well,
dense?
That's the great thing about the metamaterials. It's carbon based, so I can alter it at will. I mean, I'm a sentient mass of metamaterials. I can be light as a feather or dense as a brick.
Okay, so I'm presuming that you make yourself roughly capybara weight.
Lighter, in fact. Like
Okay.
in theory, Jack could have lifted me with a finger.
Sounds
Okay,
like
like
a good
he
stunt
starts
to make.
he reaches under and like starts to lift you up, and he's like, "Ouch!" And he stumbles and almost flips over backwards because he was expecting a lot more weight. And he like lowers you into the sack, which is like in his little cart, and he like pulls the sack over and ties off the top of it.
And from within the sack, you hear me mutter, "See you all on the other side."
And the burlap sack, now smells of cheap cigars, and like a little bit of mildew, not much, but a little bit. This thing has gotten wet, and hasn't really dried it out as well as he should have.
Lovely throw pillow, though.
Yes, the throw pillow is very nice. Lavender scented, I'm presuming.
Yes, I suppose.
So we know how Lionel is setting up to go in, and Lionel, we'll go into the role to sort of set this up for you. I'm thinking I think we'll be rolling a couple of create an advantage here from different folks' perspectives for different parts of this. So we know how Lionel and Jack are going in. For Norgar, Naba, and GB, like how are you following? And first we'll set up the following part, because that's going to be important, is making sure you keep up at the right distance, right? Then we'll set up how you get in once Jack and Jack and Lionel in a sack get inside. So first off, Lionel will need to roll to create an advantage. This sounds like a standard clever plan to me. Like you're setting it up, setting it up cleverly. So give me a clever roll to see how you set this up.
That is a 2.
Okay, that's enough to get it. You get you create the clever ruse with 1 free invoke. So we'll make a note of that on our conflict screen. Let me get rid of, actually, I'll just change some of these other ones because Jack's off balance. Jack doesn't really apply. He's working with you now. So we'll turn that into clever Trojan Lionel ruse.
And maybe trapped becomes cooperating or something.
Yeah, well, Jack will still be, he'll be effectively an aspect you can tap in here for whatever.
Okay.
Because I'm going to leave that on there, but we'll sort of change the name of that. But
Okay.
Jack is available as an aspect to be tapped if he's able to help out. But keep in mind that he's basically a coward. Like he's here because he thinks you guys can basically deal with this. But like if it looks like things are going to go south, like he's going to cut and run. He's going to grab that jetpack and jump outside. Like. And you just from your limited contact with Jack, like you get that vibe. Like if things look like they're gonna, if you guys are kicking butt, like he's all with you. if things go south, like Jack is going to make a run for that that jetpack and just leave. So just keep that in mind with regards to Jack. Jack is in it for Jack, and he's in it with the rest of you simply because right now you guys kind of convinced him that you are on the winning team. Okay. So we've got that now. Norgar, Naba, and GB. Who wants to make the roll for setting up your follow distance and tracking? That sounds like something that might be right up Naba's alley to me.
Probably. Sounds accurate.
So what approach do you think would be best for this? Is it tracking? Is this a careful kind of thing? Is this a clever thing? Is your
it's
sort
a
of
sneaky thing?
Yeah, sneaky. Okay.
We want to make sure that we are not detected.
Very good.
As we are following.
Okay, roll sneaky for me.
All right. Careful. Pshaw. That's a
okay. All right. Let me see what the other folks have. You'd be rolling against their careful, which is 0 because I mean they're not. These folks aren't particularly careful. They're generally not worried about it. Very few people choose to mess with Thrak and his bunch. Hey, you still won. That's because they rolled a 0. So you've got basically you've got a whatever you would like to name the aspect, Joe or Naba. You've got this set up to where you are hanging back at just the right point, and you have created an aspect to cover that is
amongst the foliage.
Okay. There is still some foliage around to hide. So I'm going to change the information trader, or I will change the trap aspect to hiding among the foliage. Okay. All right. Norgar and GB, do either of you want to take any actions to add any additional setups to this plan right now, or do you want to hold off until you guys actually get to the point where you're getting into the base / dirigible?
I can't think of anything I'd particularly do. I'm a big clunky robot.
I got you. So nothing until you actually get to the base proper. Then there might be some big clunky robot stuff that he's doing. Norgar.
Same for Norgar. I think a lot of my stuff would probably be best used there, unless we needed to be aware of our own surroundings in case of an ambush. But I don't think that's the case.
Well, I think Naba's pretty much got you covered there. It looks like. Yeah. Okay. So Lionel, Jack is puttering along in that little moped with dirt bike tires that he's got going.
Let me know when we get close to the gate so I can start cussing at you. They're not going to believe you captured me if I'm not swearing at you.
Oh, okay. And he leans back, and you can hear him over the annoying buzz of the moped motor. Okay, we're getting close. And the moped motor.
There's the comic panel of the moped coming up, little cloud of dust, and just a speech bubble in gigantic, jagged, bold type of exclamation point, ampersand, hashtag, @.
Oh, it covers the entire top of the panel.
Yeah.
Underneath is the tiny little moped with the little cart, stuck onto the back with the sack. And you hear the moped engine go into an idle as he sort of as he slows to a stop. And Jack says, listen, hurry, let me in. I don't know how long this stuff is going to hold him. You know how he is. Come on.
You let me go or I'm going to kill the fracking lot of ya.
And underneath these screeching growls of Lionel erupting from the sack, you see the gate guards, who look like the old lackeys. They're in this sort of mismatched powered armor, kind of like Thrax, but theirs is obviously like cheaper and has taken way more of a beating. And they nod enthusiastically and go, "Yeah, hope he freaking kills that stupid little frickin'." And you see the little sort of vague curses on the side panel from them as they open the gate and allow the moped to through. All right, now the moped is in. Nabaa, GB, Norgar, how do you want to enter this base? It's basically this sort of makeshift fort would be the best way to describe it. It's got some walls and a few watchtowers that are basically look like they're made of old sheet tin and repurposed construction girders and rebar. This is not designed to withstand an assault. It's not that kind of space. It's basically just a stop for this dirigible thing now. And the dirigible dock is towards the back of the base, and the dirigible sort of docks it docks to the top of the one building that's standing in this little zone, and that's like a 3-story it looks like was probably originally like a bottom floor small store of some sort, and then the top 2 floors were residences, maybe for the people that own the store. Maybe the second floor was storage, and then the 3rd floor was residence, kind of thing. Because you can see kind of through a couple of the broken windows, the bottom floors have got a lot of big open space in it. It would have been a place where people would have come in and bought stuff. Second floor, you can see inside. Looks like there are rooms up there, there are different rooms. It's not just one big open plan there. 3rd floor, it's hard to see into. It looks like there's actually shutters and stuff up there. So that's probably where there's actually that's where people crash or something.
All right.
So how do you guys want to get into this place? Nabaa, since you got them there, they're there and they're sneaky. So they've got a free tag that we can use on that. Norgar or GB, do either of you have any ideas as to how you might work your way into this base, or would you like to let Nabaa take the lead on that as well?
I do run on the superior mode of punch card programming. I'm sure I could fool at any of their so-called advanced technology.
Okay. All right. Norgar, what about you? What are you thinking on your way in? I'm thinking I could leap overhead from the canopy or something.
Yeah, that's kind of what Norgar was thinking. I think that I'm pretty athletic.
You got those super cyber legs now.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a game plan. Go team. Whatever our name is.
We'll see. GB,
I shall vote for Team Lionel.
We're not. I don't know. We don't need to be called.
So, let me ask this, GB. Are you going? They do have some sort of rudimentary gate control system, because it was an automated gate opening. You could tell by the way it sort of had that sort of automated sort of jerk when the gates opened. Do you want to try and hack that with your radio signal with your radio broadcast, or what do you want to do?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking basically.
Okay.
Oh, okay, that was. And
now, are you guys you've got the sneaky thing set up. Are you guys trying to maintain low profile until you get in there? Is that what we're going for? Just so I'm aware of the point. Okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to try and low profile. Yeah.
Okay.
So would you say this is careful or clever?
Ooh. If you're trying to maintain that low profile, I would say you'd have to be careful with this, because if you do too much with the gates, they're going to notice. Any sort of, if the gates start doing the weird stuff, there's obviously a couple of guys there that operate the gate control. So.
And that's a 3.
Okay. That's a 3. So I don't think they're. Let's see if they happen to notice it again. These guys are not the most careful sorts. Let me see if they happen to notice. If not, you will have an open gate. Holy crap! Okay, it's a tie, so you don't have a full aspect. What you have is a boost. So I'll drop our first boost onto the table.
Okay.
A boost is just like any other advantage aspect, but it is temporary. It lasts for 1 invoke, meaning that once you use it, like that boost will no longer be available for any tags. It disappears upon use, and that's going to be this little hourglass thing. Okay, and we're going to say door hacked or gate hacked. So basically, once you use it, the gate is going to reset itself apparently. But that can give somebody a +2 to their infiltration roll to kind of either get past the gate in some way, like maybe the gate observation system or whatever.
They're admirable. They make use of admirable information security systems. Their only virtue, apparently.
But still not good enough to keep you out. It'll reset itself after you've hacked it, but like it still got hacked. Okay, so Norgar, Nabah, like, are you guys going to basically just sort of make use of your superior athletic abilities to just sort of spring over the gate now that the security has been hacked?
Okay. That was my plan. Yeah.
Okay.
Got a stunt forward just in case.
Okay. Well, did you want to use your stunt?
Maybe. Is it overcoming an obstacle?
Yes.
Okay.
You're effectively getting past their security systems, and you can, I think GB has made that boost available to you for that purpose if anybody happens to need it. You don't have to tag it if you don't want to, I don't think. It's a standard overcome.
Okay, yeah. Getting the mechanics in the right spot is the question I had. Are we overcoming an obstacle, or are we creating an advantage?
Right now, you're overcoming an obstacle because the advantage was GB basically hacking the gate security so that it's not catching you guys.
So, what is the difficulty? Do we get to know that beforehand?
Yeah, it's a fair difficulty. So 2.
That's it.
You need to get a 2 or better to get over it.
All right, because I've got muscles like coiled springs. I get a +2 when I forcefully overcome an obstacle when I try to leap over it.
Go for it.
Which I'm doing. Leaping from the canopy. Because nobody looks up, so you want to stay overhead.
Right, and you still have that 1 free invoke on the on your tracking. And
I got a 5, roll. So 5 total.
Well, there you go.
So I get a bonus thing, right?
Mm-hmm. You get a basically when you succeed with style on an overcome. Let me read this part out.
You accomplish your goal and generate a boost.
Yep. So you get another boost. What do you think your boost is for basically doing that spectacular bit of athletics where you basically spring, as the hack security cameras sort of like swerve around away from you guys, like how does that panel look as Nabah just spectacularly evades all of the security and lands behind the gate?
Well, I can describe how it looks. Like I'm leaping from like the treetops because the trees are probably pretty close because they want to cover up their building as best they can of the new Zeppelin. So as I like land on the rooftop of like maybe one of their watchtowers or whatever, it's like silently, so I don't alert the people that might be inside. And then I like keeping an eye out, and then I'm like, all right, now's the time. Now's the time. So like I could pass the boost on to Norgar if they need it.
So, what would you say the name of the boost is? Like, what would we call that particular boost?
An opening.
Okay. I'll show that nameplate on there, just so we'll have stuff on the board to track it. Okay. So Norgar, like, are you going to likewise do a sort of spring over the gate, or do you have a different approach that you'd like to take?
I think that I'm actually probably going to like scale the wall. I think that I think that I'm quick enough so that I would be able to do that.
Oh yeah, and you're a mantoid, so like scaling walls, it's right in your wheelhouse, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so again, that's an overcome option. If you need it, you can tag the sneaky aspect, I think, because Nabal left that open. And there's still the boost from GB because Nabah has not had to use the hacked gates boost yet either. So you can use either one of those if it turns out you need it. The difficulty on the roll is 2. Just choose your approach and roll.
Okay. So would quick make sense, or sneaky, or?
Quick would be just fine. Now, quick emphasizes moving over quickly. And doing it in a swift fashion, whereas sneaky emphasizes you're focusing on avoiding detection. What do you think your focus is in this particular instance? Are you trying to avoid detection as your primary goal, or are you trying to get it done quickly?
Probably avoid detection.
Okay, then I would go with the sneaky approach then.
Cool. Okay,
you rolled a 1. So that would not get you there unless you tagged one of those boosts. Would you like to use the boost?
Do it. That's why they're there.
Yeah. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nabal left you an opening as a boost. Is that the one you'd like to use?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. All right. So you get a +2 that succeeds. So you are set up. You basically clamber over the gates right behind Nabal. You guys both come down behind a convenient, basically old railroad car that they're using for storage. There's no railroad track here. It looks like they had somebody, probably one of the guys, probably a couple of the guys with the powered armor, just sort of shove this thing over there because there's big furrows in the dirt where it's been moved off the track. And they're obviously using it as, just a, storage for the various items and things that they've got here. Now, GB, you've hacked into the gate. You set everybody up. How are you getting in here? Are you using robotic extendo legs to just step over there and come down where they are? Or what do you think you're doing?
I think I try to use my like little rocket thrusters. Like they're not particularly good. They're like I'm not planning on like featuring my character just flying around just as a heads up. I guess I'm just saying they're not stunt good.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to like do a little like leap over and like land kind of as one would expect a Mars lander to on the other side of the gate.
Okay. Now, are you you've got the gate system hacked? Are you focusing on being sneaky to get over there? Or are you trying to just do it quickly?
Yeah,
what
I
do you
guess
think
sneaky.
this amounts to? Okay. Let's roll a sneaky and see what we do. It's a fair difficulty, 2 or better.
Careful.
Now, did you do sneaky or careful?
Sorry, there's a sneaky, right. I forgot about that. Never mind.
I know you got a page down on the character sheet to get to the bottom.
Okay, then it's just 3.
Okay, that's still enough.
Yep.
So you get to you land basically right behind there. Your jets, even though they're old school jets, there's enough general noise in this camp between like the engines that are pumping the fuel up to the up to the landing pad that they've got set up for the dirigible, and the everybody, literally most of the people that are operating this base are wearing some sort of powered armor, just clonking around. So there's just so much ambient noise that your jets just apparently don't figure loud enough for them to catch, at least not this time. So you are all inside the base. Now we're fading back into to Lionel and Jack. And Lionel, you hear like Jack detaching the little cart from his moped, and like as he's detaching it, and sort of like he's leaning down and like punching at the sack ineffectually. It's not really hurting you, but it lets him lean in. He says, "Okay, we're about to go up the elevator to the
Good,
landing
Jack.
pad. Okay,
You're doing
okay,
good.
okay." And you see him like shudder a little bit as he like pushes the cart forward. And from where Nabaa, GB, and Norgar, from where you guys are, you can see like Jack sort of pushing the little cart with Lionel in the sack into that building, where the and you can hear, even with all the ambient noise, I think you can probably still hear Lionel's obviously loud cursing. So they're getting into the building. I think you guys are set up to where, and if you don't have anything else special you want to do, I think you can get to where the building is without too much trouble. There's so much clutter around here that it's not really a problem as long as you guys don't try to like take off at a big run or something to get over there. As long as you go from piece of junk clutter to piece of junk clutter, you can get over to where the building is. Their security is designed to maintain the wall area, and it's apparently not particularly great at that, especially not if it gets hacked. But once you're in the camp, they're just not paying that much attention. But that's Thrax set up for you. There's a reason why this is his second dirigible. So, is there anything else that Nabaa, GB, or Norgar that you want to do in the camp proper before you head up to the building?
Well, so where is the dirigible in relation to us?
It's like the docking station for the dirigible is on top of that 3-story building. Like you go up to the roof, and like that's where the dirigible is docked. So that's where like Jack just sort of pushed Lionel into that building.
Okay.
It looks like there's like it looks like on the side, like it looks like there's some sort of elevator in there. Like you can kind of, if you look in through all the busted windows and stuff, you can see like looks like a freight elevator maybe of some sort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the GB kind of pushes over. Like GB is just trying to much painfully is trying to like wedge some stuff in front of the entryway behind us so that people aren't going to be coming into the building behind us.
Okay, so trying to block off the entrance to the building once you guys get inside.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think that's necessarily a problem to do, and that doesn't even require a roll. We'll just say there's a situation aspect, and I'll put that on there in a second. Just says basically blocked building entrance.
Okay.
So I'll throw that on there. Now, because that's just a situation aspect that's out there now, there's no automatic free invoke of that. So anybody that wants to invoke it to help them out or to interfere with somebody else, you will have to pay a fate point to do that. Okay, but it is set up. Okay, all right. Naba or Norgard, either of you want to do anything before we fade back up to the top of the building where that cart is now coming out of the elevator?
I think that Norgar's just looking for, in general, escape areas, like just.
The easiest for you guys, given your obvious inhuman mobility capabilities, is you can just basically just leap out of here, or just clamber over one of the walls. Like, the camp's not designed to keep people in necessarily, and it apparently doesn't keep people out very well either. But it's not that hard to just clamber or jump over one of the walls for any of you. So that's the simplest method of escape. If you're in the building, half the windows in this building are broken. So like you can just jump out of any of those walls, any of those buildings. For Norgar, you can climb up the side of the walls because you're a mantoid. GB's got the jump boost jets, I guess we call them, since they're not full flight jets. They're just sort of available when the GB needs them. And Naba, of course, this is not all that different from the jungles you're used to. You can clamber up over cables and chunk pieces of fire escape that are stuck on the outside of the wall. Like, getting in or out of this building is not that difficult. Now, do all of you proceed up to the roof?
I'm actually gonna like looking around for stockpiles of things that could be like set off to explode for distraction and confusion purposes when things go down.
Oh, sure. You can see. I mean, the pumps and stuff they're using here are fuel pumps. Okay. It looks like they're mostly like diesel fueled, so there are containers of diesel fuel around. There's probably some other fuel around as well if you want to really look for it, but the easiestly located is the diesel fuel barrels that are close to the generator that powers this whole facility. That's how all this stuff is working.
Okay. Good.
Like, there, you can see an occasional like solar panel that operates like the lights and stuff like that. Like, there's a solar battery attached to those. You can see those little panels on top of those.
All right. I want to
the general power needs seem to be handled by this diesel generator.
Yeah. This isn't going to go well, but I want to try to set something up where like it's a timed thing. Like so I guess more like a time bomb where like I set up like one of the dishes, the solar panels, to reflect it to angle the sunlight. So like when the sun passes a certain point, it'll be like the whole setting off a spark on the fuel pump thing.
Let's see, that sounds like you'd be creating an advantage.
Yep. Using my skill, my knowledge of the sun and the angle and the mathematics.
Okay, this could be clever or careful. Which do you think?
I'd much rather clever.
Okay.
Careful is 0, clever is 3.
Okay. It sounds like that should work. So, you've kind of described it for me. So let's see you roll careful. I think basically what you've got to do here in order to, or excuse me, you're rolling clever. The tricky part with this, and the reason that you have any opposition at all, is because you've got to do this. You got to set this stuff up without the clunkers and powered armor happening to notice you.
Yep.
And I think that's going to be their careful approach to notice something weird's going on. We've established their approach to careful stuff is a big fat 0. So.
Okay.
So I will go ahead and give you their.
Jesus.
So let's see. Oh, you still beat them because they rolled terribly.
All right.
So you've got your aspect set up, and we will change the information trader to THAC aspect on the table. Not that he doesn't have that aspect anymore, but I
It's
think
just
this
not
is
as relevant.
right. So
Time
So
bomb.
how-
Time.
time bomb diesel tanks. Does that sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Time bomb diesel tanks. Okay. So now, after getting that set up, you guys proceeding up to the roof now, or something, or does anybody want to do anything else before you guys start heading up to the roof and we fade back up to Jack and Lionel puttering into the Zeppelin? All right, seeing no one else, we got our next panel. We move up to Jack pushing Lionel into the entrance to the Zeppelin, and it's basically would you call it a gondola? Whatever you call that compartment underneath the Zeppelin, right? It's set up to where there's a little ramp that you sort of walk up to get into that part, and this is a nicer Zeppelin. This is an actual like Zeppelin style thing, not just like a blimp with a little compartment on the bottom like his old one. Like, this is better. Like, this is nicer.
Is he still building these things out of metal?
You can see parts of it aren't, there's some metal parts because Thrak just loves metal. Like, as if you couldn't tell from the big clunky powered armor. But like,
did no one ever tell him that Zeppelins should not be made of lead?
Well, making things of lead is generally a bad idea for anyone that's claiming to be a pure human, since we know what lead does to people. But this is obviously not Thrak's design. Like, Thrak has thrown that the ridiculous signage over the side, but Thrak didn't build this. Like, that's obvious. Like, through the little eye appendages you've designed to sort of pipe out of the bag so you can see what's going on. Lionel, I'm presuming you've done that so you can keep track of what's happening.
Of course. Who doesn't put eye periscopes in a burlap sack?
Obviously, it seems so obvious, but I did want to point it out for on camera, since folks would probably be wondering, how is Lionel seeing out of the sack? Well, now we know. This is far superior. This is actually like, if we were doing a comparison, like the old airship that Thrak used, we'll say if you were dealing with like steampunky looking mechanic stuff, like the Hindenburg kind of situation, right? This is obviously designed by someone that is doing it technologically. Like, this is
someone who actually knows a little thing or two about math.
Yes, this is
someone whose technological foundation is not hitting things with a stick.
Yes, or in Thrak's case, a hammer. Because
a hammer is simply a stick with a rock on the end, so not much more advanced.
True enough. So Lionel, you can definitely tell that this is not something that Thrak had any hand in designing, other than hanging his ridiculous little K sign on the side. So you can see that as you're rolling it in.
I'm wondering where the heck are the rodents of unusual sizes? I mean, this isn't the sort of thing they'd want to miss.
Indeed.
I mean, there's no explosions at the gate. There's no chaos going on. GB didn't say anything.
Yes, it is curious. I wonder what had happened to them. Now, just as a quick question, Lionel, I think I remember this, but the RUSs, you don't have any specific aspects related to them, correct? They're just
not
a
as far
faction
as
that
I
you
know.
would interact with. Okay.
They're a friendly faction. We enjoy being on track.
Yeah, they're just friends. They're not like an aspect that you've taken.
No.
Okay. So I will just say, if they were an aspect you had taken, I would be giving you a fate point right now, but they're
Okay.
not. So it's definitely something to wonder about as to why they would not have jumped at this chance to get their paws onto Thrak again. So
what do I see as besides that this place has been designed by somebody who can actually add 2 and 2 and come up with 4?
Mm-hmm. Once you get inside, you start to see walking around like the new guys, as Jack described them, and these are not Thrak goons. If your Thrak goons are like mismatched powered armor thugs, these guys are your let's see, what would be a good term for them? If you're thinking Shadowrun, think corporate street Sam, like this kind. That basically they are obviously cybernetically enhanced. They're wearing armor, but the armor seems to be is integrated, and they move with military precision, not goon precision, not thugs, military. These are obviously giving off the vibe that they are highly trained and know exactly what they're doing. So as you're going past, you can tell they're not these guys probably are a bit better at their jobs. Had they been running the base down at the bottom, this infiltration might not have gone nearly this smoothly, but they are not.
For my part, I wriggle around in the sack and I cuss.
Okay. You can tell that they note that, but they're also not expecting the full capabilities of Lionel to perceive things outside of a sack. As far as they know, you are basically a superpowered capybara, but the extent of your capabilities they are not directly aware of.
You see, they didn't read Lionel's CV. Otherwise, they would have seen listed right there, can see out of a sack.
Yep. Look, they got the briefing, rainbow-colored capybara, super dangerous. That's the briefing they got.
They didn't get the briefing about the Rainbow Rampage.
No, they did not get that. They got all they had was dangerous, highly volatile. That was their briefing. So they've got their weapons out, but they're not taking any additional measures.
Weapons. That'll help them.
Yeah.
I chew up half a cigar.
Yes, and as you can see in there, you are seeing that weaponry-wise, these guys are much better equipped than Thrax goons. You're pretty sure, you recognize some of those things. Those are laser guns, and and pulse blasters and shit like that. This is not slug throw. This is not cobbled together slug throwers like Thrax guys tended to use.
Good.
So,
Lasers cauterize wounds as they pass through.
see?
Slug throwers make you bleed.
Yeah, see, these guys are more humane. They're still going to shoot you, but it'll be a nicer shooting.
Better scars.
And burns. So we're moving into this space, and you see Thrak, and once you get inside the little main hall area of this particular airship, this is all Thrak. It is think of somebody who grew up fantasizing about creating their own heavy metal band, and they really, really thought super hard about designing the cover of that metal album. That's what this looks like a metal album a metal cover by somebody who really liked metal but didn't really get most of it, but really liked the aesthetic. So there's bad van art on the walls. And when I say bad, I mean somebody tore the side off of a painted van, and that's stuck to a wall.
Like the wizard shooting lightning at
Yes.
the waves.
Exactly. and all of that, and like the dragon. Here's one with the dragon on it, like the just all the sort of like weird kind of art that you could paint on the side of an old van. That's what is hanging on the walls here. Alternating with that, you have all this nasty big metal looking weaponry, and seated on the throne of the apocalypse, as Thrak calls it, is Thrak, still in his big metal suit of armor. His like sort of the only part of him you can see is like his head, because he doesn't have his helmet on inside here, and the power suit basically comes up to like this sort of gorget around his neck. So like this part of his head is covered. If you put the full helmet on, like it would cover everything. And he's scowling with his little tiny pig eyes at you over the gorget that kind of comes up like this. And he says, "So, finally, you're back here, right where I want you, right where we want you." And he picks up his big, ridiculously oversized hammer, which he can only wield because he's got on the powered armor. And Lionel, we know that Thrax got this hammer, and he's named it something ridiculous, stupid, but metal sounding. What does he call this hammer?
Gargantus.
Okay. Me and Gargantus are here to show you what it means to mess with me and to mess with the last vestige of pure humanity on this planet. And he's artificially like deepening his voice, and it's kind of obvious because it started out higher and then he pulled it down to make it sound more sinister.
So, considering that I've been chewing on a cigar this whole time, do I need to roll to spit the tobacco and the wrapping paper into his face?
Depending on what the effect is you want it to have. If you are just doing it as like him. Okay, it sounds like you're attempting to create an advantage. If you want to push it that far, then it would be a create an advantage roll, probably with flashy, because you're drawing attention to yourself and trying to like really get him to focus.
Oh, why not? Let's do that.
Okay, roll plus flashy. Tell me what you get. Oof. All right. Well,
yeah, I don't feel like taking a consequence or anything for that.
No. There's still a chance you could beat him, because I think he would probably oppose that, probably with his forceful. So, because he's angry and blockheaded right now. So let's take up Thrak the Purifier. Let's have him roll his forceful approach. His forceful is like his best approach. So odds are he's going to win. Yeah.
That's a 6.
Yeah. Thrak is super forceful. So it bounces off like his gorget, and like sort of you get a little bit on his cheek, and he's just taking it like he takes it like it's just the last gasp of a dying foe kind of thing. Like he just smiles, or at least you can kind of see the smile past that stupid looking gorget. And he says, Yeah, that's all you got left now. A bit of chewed up tobacco and paper.
You're the one who brought me on board another one of your blimps. Sure, you remember what happened to the last one and how well that went.
Oh, I remember. You stupid little rat thing.
Some of my best friends are rats.
It's obvious he can't remember that you're a capybara. Like, he struggled to find the right word. He's like, it's not what I meant.
Yeah, I know. Words are hard, aren't they, Thrak?
Shut up. We are going
to purify the globe. Can't even spit out a word.
and he's like flailing, just shaking with the big hammer in his hand. It's like, I'll just let Gargantus do the talking.
You can't even say your own hammer's name. And I just start laughing at him.
Yep, and he gets into these Roscoe P. Coltrane sort of stuff, and I think that he's just sort of this jerk, and he's obviously furious. And I think you're in a better space here because I think now you're going against his careful approach. Because what he should do is calm down and take care of you, but he feels like he's got to gloat. So I think if you want to try and create an advantage against him now to get him to be pissed off, I think now you're pushing against his careful.
Okay, and I'd like to do this cleverly.
I think it seems like you are doing that. I think you are focusing on clever now. So
say, well, come on. You've got me at your mercy. I mean, haven't you always wanted to tell me what your big plan is when you actually have enough time to do it? Because I can't blow up your blimp again.
And he just, let's see, his careful approach that you have to beat because he just rolled like 4 pluses. Is a 5.
God damn it.
I don't know how he did that. Like, that's literally the highest roll he could have possibly rolled. Now, Thrak.
So there's 4.
Yep. Now, here's the thing. Thrak, and you've got fate points. Thrak obviously has a complex about being superior. So if you wanted to tag one of his aspects and invoke it against him, that will give you the boost you'd need to set this up.
All right, and I need to tag careful. All right, I'll spend a fate point to do that.
Yeah. You're basically what you're tagging is his trouble aspect, or his motivation aspect in Masters of Umdaar terms is, I will show you why I am superior, all in all caps with extra exclamation points on it. So you're basically tapping into that sort of furious need he has to show everybody that he's really as good as he thinks he is.
Right.
So you got it, and I think you've got, and you've got now a advantage and 1 free tag on him, which is going to be infuriated. So let me lay that out on the table for us. So,
and as long as we're at it,
Thrak is furious.
I'd like to cleverly create an advantage by studying his tactics, since he doesn't seem to have many right now. And yet, I've already fought this fight 1 million times in my head into play.
Okay. All right, and remind me, what did that one do again?
I get +2 when I cleverly create an advantage while studying someone's tactics.
Okay. He hasn't started doing anything yet, but we'll have that in our pocket.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll roll that as soon as he actually starts, as soon as we get into a serious conflict, which is coming right now. Now, we're getting close to 11. So what I'm going to do is we're going to turn the panel back. Now that Thrak is fuming, we're going to flip our panel back over to Nabaa, GB, and Norgar. You've just gotten up to the roof. You've seen the little cart be wheeled in by Jack. You have heard from inside this Zeppelin, because Thrak is not quiet. Thrak's ridiculously overloud, gloating, and Lionel's. You've heard a couple of words that sounded like Lionel's voice, but Lionel's not quite as loud as Thrak. Mostly because Lionel is not using his powered armor's built-in loudspeakers to magnify his voice. Probably unfortunately so, since Thrak now sounds like an idiot to half the space. So how do you guys want to get into the Zeppelin? Like the guards on the Zeppelin, as I've established, are not the Thrak goons. Like, these guys look like serious cybernetic badasses. how do you guys want? Do you guys want to try and bull your way past the guards, like try and basically take them on physically to get on here? Do you guys want to basically swing in from some odd angle, like?
Yeah, I think I can do that. So are these guards basically, are we treating them as an obstacle then?
Well, at this stage, unless you want to directly engage them in a conflict, they're effectively an obstacle. Like you're basically, you tell me how you're getting past them. You can either fight them, in which case they're a fight, or you can just basically try to sneak past them. They're guarding the sort of entrance ramp
Okay.
area onto the, onto the passenger area of the dirigible. So how do you guys want to, do you guys want to fight the guards, or do you guys want to basically get past the guards and on into the airship?
Because I think at this point, GB is just going to start like spinning and like just spinning with their arms struck out and just try to spin into them and beat them up.
Okay, you're going for old school robot windmill. We
Yep.
gotcha. Okay, this sounds like a standard attack move. Do you have any stunts that would aid you in this in your attack move here?
I don't think so. No, I don't think it actually aided the move. No.
Okay. So basically, it sounds like you're. Do you think you're basically using forceful here? It sounds like you're
Yeah.
basically spinning in, clubbing the snot out of them.
Yeah.
Am I reading your intentions correctly?
Mhm.
Okay. Roll us a forceful attack, and then we will.
Rolled poorly, so I got a 0.
Okay. Let's see. They're not expecting this, so they're just having a straight roll.
Oops, sorry.
Okay. Well, you still won. So they rolled a -2. Because there's not enough of them here to get their bonus that they would get from squad tactics, because there's only 2 of them here. So you deal 2 stress. That takes both of them out. They're basically a small squad of goons. So those 2 are down. So basically GB wheels over and like goes into that spin and like clocks both of those guys before they even understand that they're in a fight.
I will just probably pick one up in each hand, spin them around, and then like set them down.
Okay, I mean they are out. Like
Yeah,
the initial impact from the blows strike.
Yeah.
They slump.
I probably just like clonk them together for good measure and then drop them.
Right. Because they were not expecting you to be there, and they honestly did not know what to expect when they saw you rolling up with that spin move. Like had Nabah jumped in with like a standard like jungle martial artsy rapier fight combat, they would have known what to do. Had Norgar jumped in with like with the super mantis stuff, they would have known what to do. Nobody, I mean, you came in like the Spanish Inquisition. Nobody was expecting it. So you guys can now get onto the dirigible. You come in, and I think here's our tableau scene for our cliffhanger for next week. You guys bust in. Our big panel splash page at the end is Thrak literally spitting with fury, raising up that ridiculously oversized hammer in both hands, and Jack shrieking and like leaping away as we see our intrepid capybara Lionel with his head poking out of the sack in that cart, staring up with maybe, would you say he's chewing on 1 cigar or 3 cigars at this point? Puckett, what do you think?
I'm pretty sure it's all the rest of the cigars that were in the bag, but you can also make out, just like at the corner of my mouth in the panel, a smirk.
All right, and that's, and maybe like there's maybe at the end that close of that splash page we see Nabah, Norgar, and GB like around the entrance as they come in. So we've got that, so this sort of panorama, kind of almost over their shoulder shots. We see the hammer, the big hammer being raised. We see Lionel's head popped out of the sack. We see Jack jumping away, and then at the very end, on the bottom right hand corner of that last splash page, we see that little close up on Lionel's face with the smirk. And we will close this session there. Next time we will come into our big conflict against Thrak, and we'll see how that goes. See, for our end of session here with Masters of Umdaar, each of you at the end of each session reach what is referred to as a minor milestone. For a minor milestone, you can change up basically anything about your character that's basically not working the way you want it. Here are your options under a minor milestone. You can switch the ratings of any 2 approaches. You can rename one aspect that isn't your high concept. You can exchange one stunt for a different stunt. You can choose a new stunt and adjust your refresh if you already have 3 stunts. If you don't have 3 stunts, you can add another stunt in for free. You can have up to 3 stunts before it starts costing you refresh. And if anybody had a moderate consequence, which I don't think anybody did from this time, I think Jack was the only one that took a minor consequence, and he's an NPC, you would be able to clear that one. If you had a minor consequence, if you have a moderate one, that would still be hanging around. Okay. Does anybody have any questions before we close this session and go off air? Okay. All right. Thanks everybody, and we're going to close the recording here. Thanks everybody for watching. Look forward to seeing you at session 3.